Good morning. How are you guys this morning? Sorry about last week, Saturday. Had a little bit of episode with my mother. She ended up in the hospital for multiple days, but she's home now and she's recovering, so all is good. But that did kind of throw a kink into my plans for Macintalk. So this Macintalk episode was delayed a week, and I didn't do as much research as I wanted to on this, but I do have some material to show. This was inspired by our good friend and fellow YouTuber and Mac enthusiast. Well, actually, he's an enthusiast about a lot of things. Justin D. Morgan. If you haven't seen his channel, like and subscribe. He's got some pretty good content. But anyway, he was working on a HyperCard stack. Wanted to use Macintalk, was having some trouble with it. And, so I offered to help, and then things happened, and he figured it out on his own, so that's great. So let's see who we got this morning in the chat. We have Dave's Vintage Apple Tech. Good morning. Dave will be streaming tomorrow on Sunday. He does almost every Sunday, does a really, really great long repair live stream with lots of people, so check that out. And we have Everything is Broken Garage. Old Tech, WTF. They have a live stream on I should make a list of these things so I could say the right names. Anyway, they have a bi-weekly live stream on Friday nights. And who else do we have? We have Eric Rangel. Good morning. Yes, it will say hello. Trina's Technobabble. Another fine YouTuber, and Computers with Pride. If you're looking for computer hardware and repair services and all that, check out Trina. Gut Bomb, yo. Gut Bomb does a lot of YouTube stuff, shenanigans, but he's also producing some equipment. I don't have it here to show, but he's got this great little card that he put together and sells that provides a drive emulation for Commodore 64. Works great, among other things. Who else do we have? Bill Goetz. Hey! So, Bill Goetz lives in the Great White North. Well, it's not really white, but it is in the north, and has lots of sheep around him and does wool spinning, among other things, including retro tech. So check out his stuff. Anyway, so it is the last day, or nearly the last day, of Macintalk. So we have one more day left, and then there's the honorary April 1st day that we do shenanigans. There is also, so Bill goes, not white, more green and blue and turquoise. Yeah, it's true, he lives on an island, and has a unique address. I thought it was a joke at first, and then I realized no, they don't number their houses where he's at. It's actually a phrase that they use to describe each home, which is really cool, and I wish the U.S. did that, but it would be complicated. Anyway, and, Garth Beagle. Hi, Garth. Garth also does a lot of retro shenanigans, and he has a couple of suspect friends that show up on his live streams. Anyway, this is cold coffee from an hour ago. So I am done with that. Let's see what else. So I have this little segment, and I wanted to talk about before I get into the HyperCard shenanigans. So,
where's the beef?
Anyway, so where's the beef? I spent a lot of time listening to my 84-year-old mother talking about everything. A lot. My God, she talked. Anyway, and we talked a little bit about technology, actually. She's has zero interest in anything computer related. Never has. Her most complicated device is her flip phone. And she also has cable. Or I think it's actually DirecTV or something like that. Anyway. She does not want to have anything to... She would prefer to have a landline if it didn't cost so much. Doesn't want to have anything to do with anything tech. And I used to be confused by that, but recently I've started thinking about how technology influences our lives. And, one example that I'm sure all of you are familiar with is being connected 24/7 by having a smartphone, She turns off her phone and only turns it on when she wants to make a call because she'd rather not be disturbed. It took us a long time to convince her to carry her smartphone, or not smartphone, her flip phone with her when she went to the store or something. We're like, what if you get stranded somewhere? But anyway, I was talking to her about stuff, and I was like, there's a lot of things that you can do with a smartphone or with a computer that, people just take for granted today, like, online banking or ordering stuff from Amazon, things like that. She says, I like people. I want to talk to people. I don't want to do my banking online. I want to talk to a teller because I like talking to people. And I thought about that, and I said, for someone like my mother who she doesn't get around much, she's still driving. I mean, this woman is actually pretty well held together for somebody who's 84. And unfortunately, I didn't get that a lot of that genetic endowment. I look like my father's mother. We all look like my father's mother. I was joking on Discord the other day that, yes, you can't tell the men and the women apart because we're like dwarves. All of us have beards. But, so I probably didn't get the long life gene from her. Who knows? I guess I'll find out later. But anyway, she doesn't get out much, and when she does, she wants to talk to a human being. She doesn't want to do things third person or, with a device in between. So it's what works for her. She also it's really quiet where she lives. She doesn't keep the TV on all the time. I kind of miss that kind of quiet. So she lives out in the middle of nowhere, so there's hardly any traffic. It was rather peaceful. Anyway, so not everybody wants to be connected or artificially connected. They want that meet space, face-to-face human connection. For myself, I still like using my phone, and I don't want to talk to somebody if I can avoid it when it comes to transactions. Yeah, my mom had a captive audience at the hospital, but they liked her. They really did, because she wasn't a pain in the ass. Yeah, I won't go into more details, but anyway. So to get on to the topic of today, so Macintalk or PlainTalk is actually the kind of the umbrella over all of this. Let me share my desktop. Boom. Okay, hopefully you guys can see this. Maybe I can adjust the size here a bit. Alright, so if you go to the Wikipedia article for PlainTalk, you will see some information about it covers all the Macintalk speech synthesis and recognition technology up to 1990. So, I'm not going to read through this, but there are some samples. There's basically 3 versions of Macintalk. The original Macintalk was, Apple does not have the source code for this, or at least they didn't, according to what I've read. But let's take a listen to it.
Hello Wikipedia. This is Macintalk 1 on the Apple Macintosh speaking. Macintalk speech synthesis was featured in the 1984 Macintosh introduction by Steve Jobs.
Pretty crude, but for somebody who grew up I played with paper when I was a kid. We didn't have computers and things, so pretty amazing. It's the same voice that was used in the demo. Yeah. So that's your classic Macintalk. Hey, Apple's Anonymous. Good morning. Then they went on to Macintalk 2. And Macintalk 2 used better speech synthesis. It runs only in System 6.0.7 or later, things like that. So let's listen.
Hello Wikipedia. This is a Mr. Hughes voice from Macintalk 2. And this is an example of the Marvin voice.
It's still pretty bad. Anyway. And then Macintalk 3 Pro was, they added a lot more voices, and they used the speech control panel. The original Macintalk, you just had to drop the Macintalk control panel into your system. Very buggy, the original version. Caused a lot of problems. They also have, OS X has got the text-to-speech, and then there was speech recognition technology they added. But what I wanted to talk about was the original Macintalk speech synthesis. And there is a way that you can do this in HyperCard. So let's go on to... Here is one of the tech notes about, this is too small for you to read. Links to all of these are in the description for the video, so you guys have all this. This is from February 1990, and basically what they're talking about in this tech note is stay away from Macintalk. It was something they did in a hurry. It's a third-party company's speech synthesizer. It does not use the proper technology that's supported by Apple and Macintosh for doing speech synthesis. It goes directly to the sound hardware on a Plus and an SE. And so it's tied to the hardware. They added a sound manager that looks for or monitors for those that data and then tries to help it so that it's supportable, but it's just a nightmare according to this. So they basically said, here's the Surgeon General warning. This I'll read. The development of Macintalk ended with the introduction of the Macintosh in 1984. So it was not developed further. Nothing more will be done with this product. This is a compatibility. It is a compatibility risk to use Macintalk. It causes the sound manager to fail. It will not work with the new sound manager planned for System 7. This system revision will also introduce a new feature of virtual memory, and Macintalk will not work with virtual memory running. It may not work in all future versions of Macintosh. So they're really saying just don't use it. Continued use of Macintalk is a major compatibility risk. Do not operate heavy machinery while under the influence of this product. So that was a pretty clear statement to just stay away from it. Anyway, so and then here's another article that's better formatted than the Wikipedia article, I think, that talks about the original Macintalk synthesizers. And so it's pretty cool. I've wanted to mess around with this. I want to get into messing with the phonemes, where you can control how it talks, etc. But anyway, enough about that. So there is a resource that's available on archive.org. It's a HyperCard 2.0 Macintalk HyperCard stack. And what someone did was they wanted to support Macintalk without having the external software installed, so they converted Macintalk into an external command that you can import as a resource into your stack. And so I played around with this a little bit this morning. Because I didn't want to haul out like an SC and point a camera at it. I'm using Mini VMac. This is emulating, it's running system 7.5.3. I think it's the Apple Macintosh 2 ROM. So and if you download the stack and run, oh sorry, that's Adventure, more about that later. Here's the folder. So it gives you this little stack. Let's open it.
Portions of this stack are used with permission from the book Cooking with HyperCard 2.0, copyright 1990 by Dan Winkler and Scott Nestor.
So there was a book. I cannot find Cooking with HyperCard. What I found was Cooking with HyperTalk. So I don't know if this is a typo. Can't find the Cooking with HyperTalk 2.0 is copyright 1990. So maybe this is a typo. I don't know. But anyway, so somebody took Macintalk and brought it into your HyperCard stack so you could use this. I tried it on 8.6 and it just blew chunks. It doesn't work. So let's poke around at the code in here. So we're going to look at the stack. Okay. So immediately you can tell that there's problems with using this technology. Cooking with HyperCard. Yeah. So this handler uses say as a handler for calling Macintalk, which is Macintalk say, because there's a problem with strings longer than 250 bytes. Now, I don't know if that has to do with pulling this into an external command or if it's just the way, like Macintalk is just that crude. But so what they did was they said if it's less than 250 in length, it would just go ahead and do it directly. Otherwise, it would break it up into sentences or chunks and then process it that way. So here's a sentence process where it looks for the period in each sentence and just, works through it that way. And then chunk process, it just breaks it up into 230 byte chunks and says the text. So that's how it's doing this. And then if you look at the objects that are in here, so we're going to use our favorite little tool, ResEdit. Yay. I love the animation on that. And we'll go into the Macintalk folder. And we'll look at the stack. File's already open. I can't do that. Quit HyperCard. Mouse is a little sloppy in this. Okay. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things that are needed in here for it to work. Hey, Retro Techie. So there's a driver resource, rules, a string, the talk thing, and then the external command. I have not had time to figure out what all the pieces are here. If you look at the driver resource, you can't. I have no idea what this is. It's a bunch of bytes. This string is just the copyright information for it. Again, a bunch of bytes. And then there's the external command. Macintalk say. Trina, Retro Techie, be nice to each other. So, why am I even holding that coffee mug? So anyway, you have to have all of these or it doesn't work. You can't just have the external command in there. So I started messing around with this. I wanted to have a text box, and so let's look at the code for this. So Macintalk say card field anything, and this is the card field anything. And this just says the string hello.
Hello.
It's that simple. Now, this worked the first time I tried it, and then every single time I've done this since then, it doesn't work. And then it locks up. So, there's definitely a problem here. Let's see if I can get out of it. Let's see, Control C, Q, yes. And we'll start it back up. So, it's not, you know, they really don't want you using it in applications. It's just too buggy. So, start the stack up again. See, it doesn't want to work. I don't know what the problem is. Like I said, it worked once. Let's quit HyperCard again.
Hello. Hello.
So, there you go. It does do that much. So, would I use this in a stack? No. I would not. Yeah, it's cool. You could do, you know, something in a game, perhaps. You could have it read text, you know, someone's sight impaired or something, but it's just not reliable. Yeah, it's a feature. It reminds you need to shut down and restart your computer. So I'm not sure why it screwed up like that. Let's do this. Let's run the other stack. Come on, Eric. It's going to go through.
Portions of this stack are used with permission from the book Cooking with HyperCard 2.0. Copyright 1990 by Dan Winkler and Scott Nestor.
So, let's use, hang on here. We're going to use the message box control and say hello.
Hello.
Okay, that works.
What's up?
So, the say thing, let's try using Macintalk. Oh, sorry, it's case sensitive. Sorry. Oh, wait a minute. What was the command for that? Script. Oh, Macintalk say. That's right. Control C. Oh, that doesn't work. So let's see if this works.
What's up?
Okay, so it's working in this stack. Let's go back and open the other stack.
What's up?
Okay, it's working there. So it's, I don't know why. Let's do this. Let's not refer to the card. Let's move that to a variable. Put into the talk. Oh, stop. And we'll say the talk. Maybe it'll work better. Yes. Alright, let's go back to the tool. Let's see if it works. Nope, it still blows chunks. What happens if we do this now? There you go. Error type 10. I have no idea what error type 10 is. Probably blowing chunks in memory or something. Maybe this would work better if I was emulating a Plus and using a Plus ROM instead of the Macintosh 2. Who knows? Anyway, not something I would use in a stack. Type 10 is the good error. Okay. There's such a thing as a good error? I didn't know. Or is it just the least worst error? Yeah, so that's pretty much it for using Macintalk. Now, let's switch over to my 8.6 machine, where we do have the newer version. This is the English text-to-speech tool that you can install. It's got all the different voices. They go through how to do this, and you can read portions of a document. So you can go up here, you can say sound, speak selection.
To read a portion of the file, select the words you want to read, then choose speak selection from the sound menu.
So there's different voices. You've got Agnes, high quality. Albert, I think, is supposed to be Batman. Let's do a smaller section.
You can also try the following.
Oh my god. Sounded like my mother's voice the other day. Bad news.
You can also try the following.
Okay. So people online are saying that error 10 is it could be an extension conflict. Interesting. So, I don't know. Let's go look in here. There's the speech tool here. So maybe it's the speech manager having some issues, because this is supposed to, you know, intercept. System. Hey, we got a new system error. Anyway, I threw this together this morning. Maybe it's 7.5, so maybe that's not quite supported. I should probably try 6.08. Anyway, yeah, so that's a problem. So let's. Oh, you can't even. I'm sorry. You couldn't see what I was doing. I went into the system folder on the Mini VMac and looked to see if Macintalk was installed, you know, because it's using an external command, things like that. But I don't know. Anyway, it blew chunks. I got a system error 11. Okay, so you got different voices. You can mess around. Pipe organ. What's that?
You can also try the following.
Interesting. Trinoids.
You can also try the following.
So there's your Cylon. Everybody remember who Cylons are?
You can also try the following.
It's a bit like a Cylon, too. Junior. Hysterical. Yeah.
You can also try the following.
Okay. So what happens if you do things like the Apple symbol? Nothing. It doesn't recognize it. Let's do Apple menu. Let's change the voice. Go to Victoria, high quality.
Apple icon, menu.
So it said Apple icon. Yes, Battlestar Galactica. So, Bears, what is it? Bears beats Battlestar Galactica. I never watched that show. I just know some of the memes. Anyway, that's pretty much it for what I've got. So what am I going to do for adventure? Because I do want to have some sound in there. And I've got some special effects. Let's switch back over to the other screen. So we'll go back to the desktop here. This is the latest adventure. And here's my sound effects folder. So it's got a whole bunch of different sound effects. I was going to have music, so there's mod files in here, but I decided not to. Yeah, the original was okay for what it was. I mean, we didn't have a lot of sci-fi in the to watch at that time. I really liked the reboot that they did. the first season was a little, I didn't care for the shaky cam view of the battles, but that got better. And I'm glad they kind of jumped the shark in the new version, the remake. But I think they recognized they needed to roll it up, so that was good. Did you miss all the good stuff? You missed System Error 10 and 11. So, no, you didn't really miss much, Frank. You missed me talking about... well, you can go back and watch the video. I don't need to recap. Anyway. Hi, Frank. How you doing? And Rudy. Who else? Oh, hey, Justin. Yeah, so that is Macintalk 3. I was messing with the original Macintalk and in HyperCard, and it's buggy as heck. So I'm glad you got your stack working, though. So anyway, in Adventure, I've got all these media files, and the downside to that is they're all AI IF files. The downside to that is that it means that this thing's not going to fit on a disk like I originally intended, but that's okay. So if we go into Adventure, so there's your forest glade sound effect. And if you go to the editor, and we go into look at a location in the forest glade. In my last video I talked about how you can, a way that I use to edit these, but you can drop these into the text. When it's doing the description for the forest glade, it plays the whatever sound is in there. So what I can do is, with the non-playing characters, I could also drop sound bites into there and have them talk. So I'll probably do that. At least maybe for the like their first dialogue or something like that. I'll just put that in, or if they laugh. So if you look at the wizard, sinister laugh. So one of the lines of dialogue is him laughing. Things like that. Anyway, so back to the game. And for controlling the sound, originally I was going to have music, but I ran into a lot of problems with the music, so I cut it out for this version. But you can control the sound effect volume. This is where I was going to have a loop for music. Anyway, that's disabled, so you can't do that. Yeah. That's about it. So there are, like I said, there are multiple resources that you can look at for playing around with this. If you go to archive.org, you can actually mess around with it here. You don't have to go anywhere else. So let's we'll full screen this thing. Whee! The emulator's a little off on the mouse when you're in full screen. So in theory this should work. Oh, this is the other stack. So this is different one.
Hello out there in Macland.
Yeah, okay. So this actually will install Macintalk. Oh, that puts it into another stack, so you can add it to as a resource to a stack. I think this is the newer, improved version of it. I downloaded a different version to try it out, but if we, let's see if we can. Yeah, I'd have to just, take this apart to be able to go into it. They changed the menu. Anyway, so there's a couple of things out there in archive.org. This is one of them. Your mileage may vary if you play around with it. So who else do we have in here? What's going on in the chat? Yeah, the Macintalk XCMD it's one of the versions that I'm using. Yeah, if you can find a better one, I could add that resource. So, I think there were a lot of people that tried to get this to work in various forms. Yeah, nice seeing you, Rudy. I'm glad you could drop in. Let's see. Let's get back to the webcam. So, what's going on? For the rest of Macintosh, I'm not sure what... Oh, I know what I'm going to do. So, tomorrow... if I get it today, and I should, the Mac SE30 board that Will repaired for me. He repaired the board, but he also offered me a new board. What do you call that? It's a new logic board, and you move all the components to it. Reborn, whatever, I can't remember what it's called. Anyway, he offered me that, or he was able to bodge like 3 or 4 traces on the original board. I opted to go with the new board because I want it to last as long as possible, and they can tend to degrade. So I'm going to put that back into the SE30 and see if we can't get it to boot. I'm also planning on, Joe from Joe's Computer Museum fabricated a nice blue SCSI mount so that you can replace the drive slot cover, and it looks like the drive slot cover to the front panel of an SE, so that you can insert and remove your SD card as you're from the front instead of the back. So I'm going to do that. I don't know if I'll have that tomorrow. And the other thing I got is for April apples. Frank gave me a great deal on an Apple II GS, and I'm going to use the Dan 2 card to provide it with a drive, and I plan on doing some HyperCard development on the Apple II GS. So there's a color version of HyperCard that's available for the 2GS, and you can convert stacks from a Macintosh to an Apple II GS version of HyperCard. I've never played around with it, so I wanted to try that. Nabupril. It sounds like a bad medication. So there's a lot of stuff going on with Nabu too. I think there's going to be a major release of some new software, I heard. But anyway, so if you're into that, please see Rudy's Retro Intel. He's got videos on Nabu, and there's some other people out there that've got some stuff like that too. But anyway, so tomorrow's the end of Macintosh. Still haven't heard anything about the Apple HyperCard user group, the vintage Apple HyperCard user group, so that's probably dead. I think I'm just going to go ahead and make my own logo for it and stuff, and I don't know, maybe I'll have a Discord channel or something for it. We'll see. So, the usual things, like and subscribe if you like the video, if you want to see more of this kind of stuff, and you know, I'll have, like I said, some more HyperCard for April. Probably some more repair, because I've got a big pile of stuff in the garage I need to go through. And I'm going to continue working on Global Talk. I've got a HyperCard game called the Royal Game of Ur. It's based on a really ancient board game, and I'm going to make it Apple Talk enabled so that you can have two players play the game instead of using the game AI. So that should be fun. I think I can do it so that it's efficient enough that it'll work over Global Talk. But so that'll be something that'll come soon. Yeah. So make sure you catch Big Bad Biologist at noon with his not janky stuff. It's absolutely not janky. And then Tech Ambrosia later today, and then Dave tomorrow. Gonna do the outro. Thanks, everybody.